lindo los corazones. Hey y'all, it's your favorite Moya Mocha here, Dam del Cielo. And today is Wednesday, September 16th, which means it is Mexican Independence Day. So, we're going to learn a brief history of Mexican Independence Day and some Mexican culture references, and also I'm going to do a cover and then a little bit of history of the song of Cielito Lindo, okay? Okay, awesome. And just before we get started, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe this video. Okay, especially for Mexican. Let me know if I got everything correct. But like politely, please. Love y'all. Love Mexico though. So let's begin. So now starting off this video saying that Cinco de Mayo is not Mexican Independence Day. That is the day that the Mexican army had defeated the French at the Battle of Puebla in 1862. Okay, so that's not Mexican Independence Day. Mexican Independence Day is totally different. Okay, just starting off there. It's totally different from Cinco de Mayo. ¿Comprendes? ¿Me entiendes? Okay, let's go. So before we get into Mexican Independence Day, let's look at a little bit about information about how Mexico was formed to be Mexico. Like, why the name Mexico? Also, like on their flag, like why is there a bird holding a snake? Or what's it doing to the snake? I don't really know. Going into that right now with a short little clip from the animated history of Mexico. This guy's amazing. He does really good work.
Begins in the power vacuum left by the collapse of the Toltec Empire in 1122 AD. In the absence of any one dominant power, a series of small city-states carved out their own little corners of influence. 200 years later, the Mexica tribe settled right in the middle of Lake Texcoco to fulfill a prophecy. They were told that the apparition of an eagle perched atop a cactus and eating a snake would mark their new home. So upon seeing it, rather than look a gift eagle in the beak, they camped out right in the lake and began building the city of Tenochtitlan. The Mexica then allied with two of their neighbors to form the Aztec Empire. Through a combination of military skills, some fetching outfits, and a trusty obsidian macahuitl, the Aztec Empire grew to dominate the land from coast to coast. Meanwhile, the capital Tenochtitlan became a fabulously huge and beautiful city of canals, palaces, markets, aqueducts brought word that there was a shiny big civilization to sack on the mainland to the west. So one enterprising gentleman by the name of Hernan Cortez defied the crown's orders and hopped over to the mainland in 1519 with some 500 fellow conquistadors, the absolute greediest and nastiest brutes that Renaissance Spain had to offer. While the numbers game wasn't strictly in Spain's favor, they had steel swords and armor that made the obsidian blades and wooden shields look like paper mache. Now, the Aztecs, being a conquering empire, had made a series of enemies like their neighbors the Tlaxcalans, who were all too thrilled to offer thousands of warriors for Cortez's army. But perhaps the most deadly ally that Spain had in this fight was smallpox, which, among other European diseases, killed anywhere from half to 90% of the native Mesoamerican population. After Cortez kidnapped King Moctezuma, dodged an arrest attempt from his commanding officer, and ordered his ships to be burned to ensure there was no possibility of retreat, the conquistadors captured Tenochtitlan in 1521 after several battles and a long siege, and fully eradicated the Aztec Empire. And now with all that icky pagan nonsense out of the way, Spain's got itself a brand new Spain. Step 1 was to stop Cortez from acting like a de facto monarch, because why would he exercise restraint now? Back in Spain, King Charles V created a series of advisory boards to attempt to rein in Cortez, but when that didn't work, Charles just stripped him of his powers and established the Viceroyalty of New Spain in 1535. Step 2 was building up a new capital on the site of Tenochtitlan, which was newly renamed after the old tenants of the Aztec Mexica tribe, which is where we get the name Mexico. Step 3 was governing the place. In addition to the power of the monarchy, Spain formalized their superiority over the native peoples through a casta system, which classified everyone from Iberian-born Spaniards down to indigenous peoples with Mexican-born criollos and mixed-blood mestizos in the middle. Step 3.5 was adopting an old Aztec law mandating public labor and transforming that into the Spanish encomienda system, which wasn't technically slavery, but it was pretty dang close.
Of course, once the colonizers come, they make everyone learn Spanish and become Catholic and try to destroy as many like Aztec and native relics as they can. So now we're just gonna jump forward a couple centuries. So Mexico, like the rest of the colonized world, was inspired once they saw the Americans defeating the British and Haiti defeating French, and those two cities got independence. Not cities, those two countries. So actually the day that they marked today, or marking today, September 16th, was actually, it's the moment in 1810 when Miguel Hidalgo y Costilla, a Catholic priest known as Father Hidalgo, made the first cry for independence after a moving speech in the town of Dolores. Hidalgo took up the flag of the banner of the Virgin of Guadalupe, a Roman Catholic image of the Virgin Mary, as she appears to Juan Diego, an indigenous believer who's later, okay, that part is interesting. But yeah, actually their Independence Day is the beginning of the struggle for independence. So independence commemorates the beginning of the struggle. Selena Albran, Associate Professor of History and Global and International Studies at Miami University in Ohio. In this case, you celebrate the moment of insurgency, possibility, and the hope. It's the grito for independence, yeah, you know. So it was a decade-long struggle. Let's see. So Jay took the banner. Then it says they massed a large, unruly hodgepodge army that included women, children, grandparents, and livestock, untrained and difficult to control, was eventually defeated, with many of its members going back to home to harvest their fields. Hidalgo was defrocked as a priest by the Spanish Inquisition, which you could have. Oh, he was later beheaded by the civil government as punishment for revolting. And his head was displayed in Guanajuato, where he and his army were charged with causing a massacre. Another priest took up the mantle of the revolution, sending home anyone from the first army who had a weapon or a horse. So for the struggle for independence sunk into a period of chaos as Mexico continued to fight a weakening Spanish rule. I know a lot of places, a lot of countries in Latin America especially want to take advantage of a point in Spain's history around like 1810 where they didn't actually have a monarch at all. As part of this too, is why the timing lines up with a lot of the same country. Okay, then in 1821, Agustin de Iturbide, a Spanish boarding soldier, flipped to become a leader of the Mexican independence movement, led troops into Mexico City, divisively seizing control of the city and declaring the country's independence. So they actually didn't get independence until 1821. Following the political promise called the Plan of Iguala, or the Plan of Three Guarantees, sought to free Mexico from Spanish rule, solidify the country as Roman Catholic, and ensure all citizens were equal. Let's see. Iturbide became the first emperor of the new nation, setting up a monarchy-style system and spending much of the new country's budget on lavish clothes that resembled the Austrian royal court fashion of that time. When the system failed as well, military soldiers jostled and vied for power, and finally a democratic republic was set up and led by an independence-era fighter, Guadalupe Victoria, who became Mexico's first president. Oh, that's awesome. The Mexicans don't celebrate or acknowledge Iturbide as the father of the independence. That hero selected as the father of independence is formally Father Hidalgo, the charismatic but destructive priest who gets the ball rolling. Yeah, like I've never heard anyone talk about this guy, Iturbide, because they were like, yeah, you fake. You fake. So I believe it depends on which part of Mexico you're from as to what the customs of Mexican Independence Day are. So one of my friends told me that there was nothing they really did. I've heard from some people that, oh, they start celebrating at midnight. And I do see that there is some sort of ceremony they do hold in Mexico, like. And then I know one of the most famous things was El Grito, which was, from 1810. Hidalgo y Costilla, he gave that famous Grito de Dolores, cry of pain, asking fellow Mexicans to come together to end the 300 years of Spanish rule in Mexico. So that's the biggest thing that most people do. And I'll insert a clip here of people doing the Grito, because I'm Mexican, I'm not gonna try it. I'm not gonna get that smoke today. I'm sorry, y'all.
Señor puro mexicano. Ahí va, compadre, ahí va. Perfecto. Muy bien.
Every night before on September 15th, at 11 p.m. when Mexico's president rings the National Palace bell and reenacts Hidalgo's famous Grito de Dolores, which is ended with 3 shouts of Viva Mexico in honor of the day. Mexico City streets are decorated with flags, flowers, and lights matching the trendy colors. Vendors will celebrate up trinkets, whistles, horns, toys, while spectators gather for parades, rodeos, bullfights, and fireworks.
Mexicanas, mexicanos, ¡viva la independencia! ¡Viva! ¡Viva Miguel Hidalgo y Costilla! ¡Viva! ¡Viva José María Morelos y Pavón! ¡Viva! ¡Viva Josefa Ortiz de Domínguez! ¡Viva! ¡Viva Ignacio Allende! ¡Viva! ¡Viva Leona Vicario! ¡Viva! ¡Viva el heroico pueblo de México! ¡Viva! ¡Vivan las comunidades indígenas! ¡Viva! ¡Viva la grandeza cultural de México! ¡Viva! ¡Viva la libertad! ¡Viva! ¡Viva la justicia! ¡Viva! ¡Viva la democracia! ¡Viva! ¡Viva la igualdad! ¡Viva! ¡Viva nuestra soberanía! ¡Viva! ¡Viva la fraternidad universal! ¡Viva! ¡Viva el amor al prójimo! ¡Viva! ¡Viva la esperanza en el porvenir! ¡Viva! ¡Viva México! ¡Viva! ¡Viva México! ¡Viva! ¡Viva México!
And then celebrations that happen in other places too apparently are, well, of course Mexico, but that have the grito and the parades, New York City, Chicago, Los Angeles, not surprising there, and Houston. And yeah, that's how they celebrate this day. Nothing here in Columbus, Ohio though, so that kind of stinks. Now we're gonna talk about the history of Mexico's national song that's recognized worldwide, Cielito Lindo, which means pretty little sky or pretty little heaven. Like sky and heaven is both cielo in Spanish, so it can be translated either way. Or some people just say pretty little one. So you're talking to a person, you call them like your Cielito Lindo, like you talk to someone and say that to them. The song has passed through generations with the families in both Mexico and the United States. You can sing at birthday parties, weddings, Mexican Independence Day parties, and soccer matches. It's a symbol of Mexican nationalism. The song celebrates moments of celebration. It's played by mariachis in Mexico City to greet Pope John Paul II and Pope Francis. Used to lift spirits in time of tragedy. The song runs so deep that we absolutely had a mariachi play at my dad's funeral. Michelle Rodriguez, a radio host from Dallas, tweeted during a game. This one, my all-time favorite mood is Mexican singing Cielito Lindo for everything. Won the match, Cielito Lindo. The sky is falling, Cielito Lindo. The world is ending. Ay, 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 ay. Canta, no llores. That's hilarious. So Cielito Lindo was a love song originally written some 130 years ago as a simple serenade for Catalina Martinez, the wife of its composer, Quirino Mendoza Cortez. Mendoza Cortez worked as a music teacher and a church organist, according to a 1977 biography by Sergio Espinosa Cordero. Inspired by his idyllic feeling when looking in the distance at Popocatépetl and Iztaccíhuatl, two volcanoes in Mexico. The composer recalls the sweet legend of his love affairs, the image of the bride, and the sweet vision of the Virgin, writes Espinosa Cordero. The song's verses include references to a pair of eyes, and that moment you have pretty sweet one next to your mouth. Okay, other lyrics in the song have sparked controversy over close inspiration. Some think that it may be Spain because it references La Sierra Morena, which is a mountain range in Spain. Let's see, the song truly began to take off after the mixed revolution in the 1920s, when a government began promoting marriage music as a national symbol of Mexico, Madrid said. Okay, interesting. Now we're gonna sing it. De la Sierra Morena, Cielito Lindo, viene bajando. Un par de ojitos negros, Cielito Lindo, te contrabando. Ay, 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 canta, no llores, porque cantando se alegran, Cielito Lindo, los corazones. Ese lunar que tienes, Cielito Lindo, junto a boca. No sé lo que es a nadie, Cielito Lindo, que a mí me toca. Ay, 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 canta, no llores, porque cantando se alegran, Cielito Lindo, los corazones. De domingo a domingo, Cielito Lindo, tengo a él. Todo será domingo, Cielito Lindo, para volver. Ay, 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 canta, no llores, porque cantando se alegran, Cielito Lindo, los corazones. And that's all we have for you today. I want to say if you've gone this far, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what traditions they do in your country or in your part of Mexico, if you're watching from Mexico. Also, everyone have an awesome, happy Mexican Independence Day. Love you. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and that's all for today. Love you guys. Bye.